Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Farming Podcast brought to you by Private Property. My name is Mbali Noko, once again, your host, as always. And thank you for joining us on this rainy Thursday evening, depending on whether or not you're in Joburg. And quite frankly, I'm just quite tired of this constant rain. Surprisingly so, I'm a farmer, and I'm sure you're thinking that, wow, farmers always want rain. So how can I be tired of rain? But yeah, I think I'm tired of rain. I definitely need a bit of sunshine in my life to brighten up my day, and I'm sure to brighten up your day. And I hope you're not working too hard as we've just started this new month of February. However, I just want to thank you also for your support, for your likes, shares, and comments on all our podcast videos, whether you're watching live on YouTube, on whichever social media channel where you're joining us from this evening and every other evening before today. So thank you so much for the support, and thank you so much for encouraging me as well as the guests in really doing a lot to assist you within your agribusiness journey or your agricultural journey or farming journey, or maybe just sparking some insight into agriculture and farming and really getting your green fingers working. So thank you so much for joining us. And today's guest is Busi Raphekwane. She's the CEO and founder of the Transformation Legacy. And Busi is a business coach, a mentor, and I know her from interacting with her about 2-3 years ago, where she assisted me briefly with my business. And I must say, she's a lady that listens with intent and that responds with knowledge and expertise. So for anybody of you that's wishing to start a farm or starting a business within the agricultural value chain, whether it be retail, buy and sell, import and export, training, coaching, mentoring young graduates, maybe to go into the workplace within the agricultural landscape, whatever your aspirations might be pertaining to business within agriculture, I think Busi is the right individuals to give us key insights, knowledge, expertise, and tips on how to successfully run our businesses and what are the things that we should look out for, especially in this tough economic climate that we're faced in South Africa throughout this global pandemic. So I won't waste too much of your time, and I'd like to bring Busi onto the show. Good evening, Busi. How are you doing?
Evening, Bali. I'm doing very well, thank you. And thank you for inviting me to the show. Evening to everybody listening in today.
Thank you. It's been a minute since we caught up.
Yeah.
Your pretty face, you look like you're glowing, you look like everything's going well. For people that don't know you as well as the Transformation Legacy, please just give us a brief background of what your organization does.
We are an entrepreneur development company. Our mandate is to develop and grow small businesses so that they can become sustainable. And the reason why the Transformation Legacy exists is to build generational businesses, businesses that can leave a lasting legacy, businesses that can transcend from one generation to another. We want to see businesses that exist 100 years from now or 200 years from now that start very small. And it's something that we don't really see regularly, particularly with small Black businesses. And we want to make an impact in that environment by equipping businesses with the right skills, the right knowledge, the right information, and just providing guidance in terms of how to build solid businesses that can leave a lasting legacy and outlive their founders. So that's who we are and what we do. We provide business skills training, business mentorship and coaching. We have various enterprises and supply development programs that are targeted at building small businesses and making sure that we really transform our economy and we position small businesses to be sustainable and change the narrative. And change the narrative.
You know what I like about what you just said? You mentioned that you're all about building businesses that outlive the owner and businesses that build generational wealth. And in the context of agriculture, predominantly, a lot of the farmers or farms that exist today have been generational farms. You know, I'm a first-time farmer, or I'm a first-generation farmer, and so meaning there was no other farmer in my family before my time that decided to pursue a career in agriculture or just in business alone, just being an entrepreneur. And there's so many Black entrepreneurs or first-time entrepreneurs or business owners who are entering the agricultural landscape or space that really don't have mentors to fast track them, I suppose, in a path where they can build generational wealth. So for anybody maybe that's listening, that's a first-time entrepreneur, first-time in business owner, first time being a farmer, or just being in agriculture, what advice would you give to this individual that is just starting out in their business journey with the aspirations of building a legacy company?
I think it's so important when you're starting out to recognize that there's so many things that you may not know about your industry. There are a lot of things that you may not know about building a business. As entrepreneurs, I mean, when you start your farming enterprise, you start it because you're passionate about farming. And that passion alone, although it helps you to commit to the growth of your farm, it does not assist you in terms of navigating the business environment and the challenges that comes with growing a business. So it's so important to recognize that and to get a mentor. I always say there's you can't go wrong with finding the right mentor to work with you, to guide you, to assist you to navigate your way into this new enterprise that you're starting. It's critical for you to have somebody who's going to advise you on what to do, and also just provide you with the knowledge that you need to understand the industry that you're going into. So I would advise anybody that's starting out to find a mentor, find somebody who's going to assist you in terms of building your business, and also somebody who's going to help you navigate your industry. And you may say, I mean, where do I start in terms of finding a mentor? You do not have to have one mentor. You can have a mentor focusing on helping you to build your business. You can have a mentor who's going to assist you in terms of providing you with industry knowledge and experience. So just look for what you need in your business and find somebody there who's got experience, who's got the know-how, who can help you navigate your way in terms of starting to build this enterprise.
Yeah, and obviously growing a business. And as you were just talking, a thought came into my mind that, I remember when we just started interacting, and the advices that you gave me, I think I thoroughly enjoyed them in the sense that you came from a different perspective. Do you understand? You came from a different background, not being in agriculture. And so my question is, and we previously actually had about 2 or 3 episodes ago, we had a session about agricultural mentorship. And so my question is to you, when starting out, do we necessarily have to have a mentor that is within our industry? Or can it be a mentor that has just had years of business experience, or just knows business and has succeeded in business and has somewhat level of business expertise and experience to help guide you through the business that you're starting, and that it doesn't necessarily have to be in farming or retail or import and export or any other value chain along the agricultural sector?
I think it's very important to have different perspectives. And it's also good to have somebody who understands business in general, because although you're starting a business in the agricultural space, the principles of business remain the same. Yeah. So the nuances of the industry may be different, but the principles remain the same in terms of what you need to have the right foundations to grow your business in a sustainable way. So I always advise that have an industry-related mentor, somebody who's very technical, somebody who's got the technical expertise in terms of the agricultural business to take you through and equip you in terms of the business that you're going into and the product that you're wanting to sell. And have a business generalist mentor who's going to help you understand general business, because you're going to be interacting with other business owners as you're selling your products, and you have to understand generally how does business work. So it's very important to have both, just the business generalist as well as a technical mentor to take you through industry specific expertise.
Okay, so how does transformation legacy work with entrepreneurs, and at what stage does the entrepreneur need to be in his or her business to work with transformation legacy?
We work with entrepreneurs at various stages because we recognize that at different stages, entrepreneurs need assistance to take them to the next level. So we work with entrepreneurs who are starting out, who do not know exactly how to start, how to register a business, where to go, just that basic information that sometimes we may take for granted. So we work with entrepreneurs who really need that guidance at the start of their businesses, as well as entrepreneurs that have already started, but are at a place where they really do not know how to go about growing their business. They may be experiencing various challenges with finding customers, with managing their team or managing their finances, and they need guidance to navigate their way through those challenges. So those would be like your growing entrepreneurs, as well as entrepreneurs who have been, we've worked as well with businesses that have been operating for more than 10 years, who are now at a stage where they feel that, we are stagnant, we need guidance in terms of how we evolve our organization. We've got challenges in terms of process running our business, and we not just need somebody to come in and help us, go to the next level. So we do take on entrepreneurs at those different levels. And in terms of how we work, we've got different models in terms of our business mentorship programs. We've got programs that are funded by corporate organizations. And usually with these programs, we would go out and inform entrepreneurs about these programs. We've run programs in the ICT sector, in the green economy sector, in the cleaning and security sector, as well as other professional service industries. And so those would be the funded programs that entrepreneurs do not need to pay for directly. And we also have other programs where entrepreneurs can pay for, and just small packages that entrepreneurs can afford. We recognize that, and understand that when you're starting your business, you do not have a lot of money to invest in training, in mentorship, as well as the business development support. So we've got various packages available for entrepreneurs that are suitable to their needs and suitable to their budgets. And yeah, so all that information is on our website as well. And we've made sure that we provide resources on our website just so that entrepreneurs have access to basic information that they need to navigate their way through growing their businesses.
Yeah, thank you for that. It sounds quite intensive, especially with these programs that you've mentioned, because I believe with your corporate partnerships, they would be expecting certain outcomes from entrepreneurs, and that a bit of commitment will be required for entrepreneurs to complete those programs, as much as they too will be benefiting in growing their business. Busi, I want to touch on something here. When we talk about businesses and entrepreneurs, we always tend to focus on those that are starting out. We give a lot of practical advice and knowledge on those that are starting out. And I suppose those that are already past growth stage, we could say that they're pretty much comfortable. So they really know what's going on. They've got their systems, their processes, etc. But I want to focus on the entrepreneurs that are really at a growth stage. Those that maybe are in between 3 to 5 years, that they already have established clients. They already kind of know what they're doing. So for example, maybe a farmer's been farming 3 to 5 years. They already have their crop that's selected. They have a market to sell to, but now they're struggling to really pivot or to grow. What are some of the tools that you would then maybe, when working with an entrepreneur at this stage, going into growth stage, what are some of the tools that you would provide to an entrepreneur within this business life cycle?
With entrepreneurs that are already established and wanting to pivot to the next level, you might find that a lot of them, the business is dependent on the founder to actually run the day-to-day operation. So that's where we start. We really look at the business. Can the business operate without you? Because if the business can operate without you, then it becomes easier for you to implement various strategies in terms of growing. And that also links to becoming scalable. So that's the first thing that we address. And you find that with entrepreneurs at that stage, they aren't they don't have systematic ways of running the business. I think in terms of producing the product, it becomes easier for them to do that in a systematic way. But in terms of running the other operational aspect of the business, in terms of business support, they may not have the right systems available to do that. So we look at such aspects in terms of the business, because those are the things that form foundations if you want to build a business sustainably. So we are very careful to provide strategies to just grow. We want to make sure that this business exists in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years. So it becomes very important for us to start with the basics. And that's making sure that there's the right systems and processes in place. The business can operate without the founder. The founder has a solid team. They've got a team that they can delegate to. And if they, already have an established market, they've got good client relations processes that they're putting in place that are not necessarily dependent on the owner, but that can still continue even when the owner is away for weeks. So there's also a very interesting matrix that we really like, and we actually measure how many days can you be away from your business without your business collapsing.
Yeah.
And if I
wow. Yeah.
And for us, it just shows us, as your business grow, can your business be sustainable, and can your business sustain itself beyond you as the business owner. So that's the one of the matrix that shows us what we need to work on in terms of developing those growth strategies.
And as you look at those interventions, right, in terms of how can the business remain profitable, scalable, operational without the business owner, do those interventions always have to involve monetary funding? Is it, like, for example, does it always have to involve capital injections? Because I heard you talk about systems, processes. It just sounds like an expensive exercise. And what if at the time of the growth phase, you just don't have that? So like, does implementing those strategies always have to include capital injection in the business or not?
Not necessarily. I'm a firm believer that you need to work with what you have. So if you don't have the budget for it, we work with what we have. If, in terms of a system, you can use something as basic as a notebook if that's what you have. And that's how basic we get. It's very important for us to achieve the objective. over and above just having things in place that we think will work for you. So we need to work with the resources that you have. And that's an advice that I would give to all entrepreneurs. When you're looking at how to grow your business, you need to look at what do you have currently at your disposal and what can you do with that. You may not have, money at that moment, but do you have people working with you that have got ideas? Do you have other mechanisms that you can use to market your business or to sell your products? So it's very important to just go back and look at realistically, look at what you have at your disposal and maximize on that.
Yeah. And when you're working with entrepreneurs and business owners, at what point does the relationship come to an end? Because even if, let's say, I'm at a growth phase and Transformation Legacy has obviously assisted me to come up with implementations and strategies that obviously grow my business and, ease some of the workload as a business owner. And then we move on to, I suppose, the third tier where, the business is operating very well, like a well-oiled machine. At what stage then do we then exit the relationship with Transformation Legacy, or can business owners and entrepreneurs just keep you along as just that sounding board for as long as the business exists? Or do you specifically say this is when now we have to exit, when the business is at level X based on the goals? How does it work?
I think it's very dependent on the goals that we would set with you as an entrepreneur at the beginning of the relationship. When we start the mentorship relationship, you obviously have certain outcomes that you want to achieve, that you've got in mind. Maybe you want to increase your sales by 30%, or you want to hire 3 more people and you don't know how, or you want to secure 10 clients and you don't know how. And once you achieve those objectives, you feel that you've reached a level where you feel comfortable to go off on your own. So, you could exit at that stage. It's very dependent on the relationship that we have with that specific entrepreneur and what their needs are. What we find at times is as your business grows, you start to experience different challenges, and you might need interventions or need support to help you address those challenges. So it's very dependent on you as the entrepreneur, and it's really a flexible and customized relationship. So we look at what you need, we look at whether you've achieved your goals, and whether you're at the stage where you feel comfortable to go off on your own and to grow your business with your team.
Awesome. So now talking about being in this, obviously, the global pandemic, right? A lot of people have now had reduced incomes, specific on which sectors they're working in. A lot of people have been retrenched, maybe in last year, in the later part of last year, in the beginning of this year, simply because organizations or their places of work cannot afford them anymore as a resource. And we constantly get individuals on this farming podcast saying, I want to try out farming. I want to start farming as a new business. I've always had green fingers. I've had land back home. I'm unemployed now. I'm at home. Or it could be a graduate that's saying, I'm frustrated with trying to find a job. All I know is, like you just said, start with what you have. All I know is that I've got land at home. We've got water. But, I'm lacking certain things. What advice would you give to individuals that would just start out their businesses? And I suppose in this case, becoming farmers, or just being, let's maybe leave it to farmers. So becoming farmers, but not forgetting that being a farmer is being an entrepreneur. So what advice would you give to a person who is thinking of starting their own business, but maybe is feeling a bit scared, is feeling a bit hesitant? They don't have enough capital or reserve funds because they've lost their job, and they need to ensure that the money that they have takes them through a number of months. So what advice would you give to aspirant entrepreneurs who want to start a business, especially in 2021?
There's never a perfect time to start a business. I always say that there's never a perfect time to start a business. And if you are at a point where you feel that you're ready, this is something you are passionate about, this is something that you see yourself in the long term, and you're doing this for the right reasons, then I would say start now. There will never be a perfect time. Even when the economy recovers, you will still have there will be other factors that deter you from starting a business. So I would say just be clear in terms of what you want to achieve out of the business. Be clear that this is something you can do and this is something you can commit to, because those are the things that you're going to need to navigate your way through growing your business. You're going to need commitment. You're going to need clarity of thought, clarity of mind. You're going to need your passion, because it's going to keep you going when, people are not buying from you and there's things happening on your farm and, things are not working out as they should be. So those are the basic things that you're going to need for you to go through your business. And I would say the pandemic that we're going through is really developing the resilience of many entrepreneurs. As much as this is very challenging and this is a very difficult time, we are going to find that in the next few years, the entrepreneurs that stay the course and that survive this period will be more resilient than they could have ever been. Because we now have to think through different strategies. We have to find opportunities in challenges and in difficult situations. We really have to dig deep in terms of surviving this period. So the good thing about being in business during this pandemic is that it's building our resilience, and we are building our businesses and structuring our businesses very differently from what we would have done before. Now we're structuring our business for sustainability. We're building our businesses to last. We understand that we have to be very, very aware of the little things in our business. We start appreciating every single rand that goes through the business account, because you don't know how long you're going to have that for. So we are building new ways of building businesses. And I must say that entrepreneurs who will go through this are going to emerge even greater post this pandemic.
Right. And my final question, Busi, is you mentioned that, it's having the passion for your business is what will surpass you during the tough times, when clients are not ordering, when things are going bad. And so what advice would you give to the existing businesses right now that are really surviving, and I want to put emphasis on that word surviving, so in capital letters. So they're trying their best to still keep their doors open, to still keep their farm gates open. So what are some of the bootstrapping measures that you advise for entrepreneurs right now? Because we don't know how COVID is going to last. So should we be actively trying to pursue and get more clients? Should we be dropping our clients? Should we be dropping our prices? Should we maybe try and forecast, how tough times will be in the next couple of months and maybe start retrenching employees just to have a small budget? What are the bootstrapping measures that you would just give out to entrepreneurs that are really surviving during this time?
I think one of the first things, I'll start from a financial side. You need to look at your finances with really close attention, and look at the expenses that you do not need to incur at the moment, and really spend your money in activities that are going to help you generate more money. So I wouldn't say save. There's expenses that you need to incur at the moment to make sure that you gain more customers, you sell more of your products. So those expenses are your marketing. And I know that there's other companies who cut their marketing budgets or who cut their marketing expenses during this time. But this is the time to spend a little even if you have a little, on marketing your business. And also keep in mind that you are not just selling to survive today, but you have to sell for future. You have to secure your sale, and you have for future prospects, you have to secure potential clients for future. So I would say that is a good expense to really consider you focusing your finances on. And then the second thing is the customer needs. Your customer needs are evolving during this pandemic. So it's very important to understand your customer needs and speak to your customers. They may not need the same quantities as they used to. They may need smaller quantities. They may need different products. They may need products packaged in a different way. You have to understand what your customer needs so that you can evolve your offering. It's also a good time for you to explore other services that you can provide, or even other customer segments that you never thought of. So this is the time for you to see where are the opportunities, who else could be my customer, who else needs my product? Because ultimately you have a product and you need to sell it to a consumer. So who else needs your product at this stage? And just also keep asking yourself that question until you find people that really want to buy your product. And they're out there. We're seeing that. We're seeing a lot of businesses that are growing during this pandemic because they've evolved their customer segments, because they've realized that their current customers do not need their product as much as they did before. So I think those would be the three key things. So looking at the expenses that you really need to incur, and spending your money on marketing and sales, not just for now, but for future. Secondly, just looking at how to evolve your product and services, and understanding what your customers and your market needs, so that you can look for new opportunities.
Wow, Busi, I think you've said a mouthful there. And as you were mentioning about trying to seek other customers, I just remembered that I was having a conversation with another entrepreneur who is not necessarily, well, he is a farmer, but has opened his own fresh produce market. And he mentioned that, surprisingly so, during this time, at the rate in which we as families and loved ones are burying loved ones, funeral parlors are coming to him with a huge demand for poultry, chicken, frozen chicken, goats and sheep that is slaughtered, simply because of the high increased numbers of funerals that a lot of funeral parlors are hosting every single week. So it's a customer segment or a client segment that he just never thought of. And I just wanted to praise you on that point or topic, and to say, definitely seek customers that wouldn't ordinarily be your customers, because people think agriculture, farming, I'm farming crops, I want to get my product into retail. But there's other businesses right now maybe that are needing your fresh produce, etc., or maybe even your waste that is, received at your farm. So thank you so much, Busi, for your time this evening. I'm sure people will be contacting you because you gave some very, very valuable insights. And thank you so much for also the tips that you've shared in terms of how we can bootstrap our businesses, how we need to think outside the box, how maybe we just need to spend a bit more on marketing, because now we need to get visible. Everybody's at home, everybody's on their laptop, on the phone, so maybe spending a few rands and cents on specific ad spend might just go a long way. And I also like the fact that you've mentioned that it's not about thinking about the now. How can my business survive? How can my farm survive? Whatever. It's about thinking for the future. And I think, customers will remember you, especially in tough times. And thank you for reminding us of that. Any last words that you maybe want to share as we wrap up our conversation this evening?
Thank you very much, Mbali, for inviting me to this platform. I just wanted to, as a parting thought, that you don't have to have everything figured out. I think it's important to take it one step at a time and to also recognize that we are all navigating new territory, but to also just be encouraged by the fact that you are getting more resilient as an entrepreneur. You are learning much more in terms of building your business, and it's just important for you to just stay the course. All the best, everyone.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. That was Busi Raphekwane, founder of Transformation Legacy, where they assist SMMEs, small businesses, whether you're a startup in your growth phase, or you are really just hitting a smooth run within your business, and you've got a well-oiled machine. It doesn't mean you should get comfortable at that stage of your business, but it wouldn't harm contacting Transformation Legacy just to see what other alternatives you might pick up that could increase or grow your business. So if you have any questions, we will share all her company details and information, including the website, on the show notes. And if you missed this podcast, it will be available on YouTube post this podcast. And I just also want to encourage you to constantly ask questions, comment, like, share. Please, I think I want to emphasize on the sharing, because there might be friends and family who might have missed this valuable conversation and really need some sort of key expert advice. And Busi is the right person that could assist these individuals with their business needs or business questions. So please share this video to anybody who you feel that really, really needs to hear this conversation and the messages that Busi left us with. However, before I sign out, I just want to say that please be on the lookout on social media for our competition that we have running. We are announcing winners every single week, and there's an awesome cash prize. There's an awesome prize available to the winner, and also to say that we will be closing up our weekly podcast with Zama tomorrow at 7 p.m. And she is hosting the Private Property Live podcast. And on the weekend, we have Chad with the Home Shoppers Show. So definitely be glued onto your social media. Please like, share, comment. And I will see you next week, Tuesday, with another awesome guest. But thank you so much for joining us. Take care and stay home and stay safe. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Ribbing. I'm an entrepreneur from Durban. The suburbs of Berea and Morningside are built on a natural ridge that overlooks the home of the Sharks, the Moses Mabhida Stadium, Durban Country Club. It's just got an incredible outlook elevated over the city. Living in Morningside makes so much sense to us because everything is so central. Anything that we choose to do is a couple of kilometers away or a couple of 100 meters away. Restaurants, coffee shops, it's all here on our doorstep. You know, we've got great schools here. The girls' schools just close by are Moristella and Durban Girls College, and then fantastic boys' schools, Durban Preparatory High School, DPHS, one of the top primary schools in the country, and then Clifton, which now goes all the way to high school. It's so convenient to be in this area where everything is close by. Some of our closest friends stay just across the Umgeni River in Durban North. Durban North is very family orientated with some great schools, some excellent restaurants, and some small commercial centres. The promenade along Durban's beachfront, also known as the Golden Mile, got an incredible facelift for the 2010 World Cup and today is used by all of Durban's population. We as a family love the Durban beachfront. If we're not on the water, you'll find us on our bicycles along the promenade. Being a world paddleboard champion, I've travelled to some of the most amazing beaches around the world, but nothing comes close to what we have here in Durban. Durban has great weather and great conditions all year round for surfing and for training and just being in the ocean. And that's why it's known as the warmest place to be. We've lived here our whole lives, and there's no place we'd rather be, and this is our neighbourhood.